there. That's just a guy who's
Brilliant up with, and he was up with Bob Nicol and Bob Brown and Balmoral for a while. And the first tunes he took me through was like Captain McDougall, Kiss the King's Hand, Battled All Down.
How did he play Kiss the King's Hand?
He played it sort of, he plays long cadences in the tune.
What setting, what book would you find that setting in?
Well, most of the tunes I sort of just take from the Pibroch Society.
Pibroch Society
But
collection.
you don't actually end up, in many cases, playing the tune as per the note values. So it's very, very difficult to write the note values down.
Could maybe expand on that theme again for the viewer that's not just terribly conversant with the Pibroch.
In the cantor, and everything was handed down by that. So, and even people who are composing these tunes, they're not writing it down. So it's always passed on by mouth.
Yeah.
And when you sing something, you become, if you're really confident with it, you can stretch notes and you can do light and shade with your voice. And that's something that you can't really do on the pipes. You can't change the volume. So it's all down to sort of how you try to glide from one note to the next and create that sort of that feeling. But trying to write that down, it's very, very difficult to structure it into a time signature. And then they would demonstrate how it goes, and you say, "Oh, I really like that," but it's not even close to what's written. Timing wise,
yes,
on the manuscript.
The notes are on the manuscript, but the timing as put down in the manuscript is not necessarily what your teachers are trying to give you.
So although we're using manuscripts, in a slight way, we're still teaching by mouth.
Aye, and that's probably a good thing too. And Jim McGregor, he would learn these tunes from Nicol and Brown and pass it on to you.
This is the way I got it from Nicol and Brown, but he would have changed it slightly.
What about memory over the centuries and over the decades and all the rest of it? And that must be a big factor.
Yeah, there's bound to be change. There's bound to be variances.
Aye.
You would think.
You wonder about that, because although McGregor, intelligent guy and a good piper and all the rest, does he accurately 100% remember every tune?
Exactly.
And in fact, the Nicol and the Brown is partners in piping. Did they remember accurately from the people they got it from and so on, right down back along a historical line? It's a difficulty.
But they might, even if they didn't, they might have thought that they took it on accurately. But even if they did or didn't, they would put their own mark on it anyway. They would actually, once they start playing these tunes, they would slightly, to suit their own playing, might decide to, I quite like stretching that note maybe a little bit longer or shorter, or doing something, and before you know where you are, there's going to be a little change.
So perhaps it's not the historical perspective, really, it's the musical performance that you should be looking at, rather than how somebody played it 200 years ago. You should be thinking about how best to draw out the music from this manuscript, if you like.
Yeah. I believe if it feels right, it probably is right. Or certainly if it feels right, it's right for you. Whether somebody else likes that, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. But the music's, the competitions drives a lot of how we play things. I mean, when I was didn't have any experience at all in pibroch, first started out, and you would maybe get your teacher would sing it for you or play it on the practice chanter, and I find it really difficult to try and play along with that, because I feel, oh, I want to come off that note early, or I want to hold that note longer, and it really frustrated me that I couldn't. And now when I look back, I worried that I couldn't play it exactly the same. They don't want to play it exactly the same.
No.
You know, as long as it's within the parameters of being, you know, pretty close, with subtle. It's all to do with subtle touches.
Yep.
And how you balance everything out throughout the tune. You know, and I hear people playing, and now that I'm teaching, you know, at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, you know, you're teaching all the students, you know, the degree course, and I'm not teaching them like this is the way you will play it, because they're not private pupils, they're on a course. So you're saying this, you might hear it played this way, you might hear it played that way, so I've got to try and find out, you know, all the different styles. Yeah. Which is good for me, because it's a good education for myself. And you let them go and choose, you know. And I've seen me looking at other versions and thinking, actually I quite like that. And then you start playing that style for maybe a while, and then you